And
yes, and Canada has, it doesn't have a racist image. It doesn't have that image that America has.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like everything is hunky-dory there. Everybody is living happily ever after.
I mean,
talk to us about your dream for Kenya. Now, that, of course, that's before traveling. When was the first time that Kenya came to your mind as a place that you possibly want to live, Afro-Jamaican?
So I'm going to be honest. Kenya was random.
What
Kenya was random.
What do you mean by random?
You might want to speak in English.
Okay, so certain things were happening in the society here in Canada, and then there was George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and I just started to feel disconnected. I was like, because when I came to Canada, I was Captain Canada, absolutely, all Canada, all the time. And then after things started going south in the States and things started happening here, people got a little bit more emboldened with their racism. And something happened to me personally. And that's when I said, I need to get out of here. I said to my wife, if I stay here, I'm going to lose my mind. I did not want to go to Jamaica. I was like, no, I need to go to Africa. I feel I need to go home.
So you at the point where you're going to use a machete?
No, nothing like that. I'm not a violent person at all. It's just I needed to leave Canada. I needed to get out of here. And I know my spirit wasn't calling me to Jamaica. And everything I had seen online was gearing me to go to Ghana. And I don't know what it was. I looked at Ghana and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to fit in there. It's not me. So I started looking at the other side of the map. And I said, you know what? I always hear about Kenya. I'm going to go to Kenya.
Wow.
And I bought a ticket, not knowing anybody in Kenya, got on a plane and went to Kenya.
Okay. Now, like when you were going to Kenya, and this is interesting that you did a random selection because everybody else was going to Ghana. Like what is it that made you actually, you said, of course, going to Kenya was random, but going to Kenya was random, but what made you not go to Ghana like everybody else was doing?
I think that's it. Everybody else was doing it.
Okay.
And I pride myself on not being like everybody else.
Okay. So
and I didn't get. I know I had to be in Africa, and I was going to Ghana because of all the publicity. But really, my spirit didn't call me there. And I ran, and it's not like I was choosing a country from East Africa. I literally went and said, I'm going to Kenya.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And I want to welcome all our other listeners here. Brenda BK, Karibu Sana. Steve Kamami Kariu, Karibu Sana. Slay Odwar, Karibu Sana. Ashley Maingi, welcome to the One Mic Show. Ashek Ndirangu. Tucha, I don't know whether you're already here, but you should be somewhere on your way if you're not already here. So welcome all of you to the One Mic Show. Eda Eva, Angie Decadence. Some comments here coming real quick, and I think this was in response to, like one of the questions that I asked before. This was regarding that viral video. The Riverfront Brawl in Alabama. And Sambaza Podcast says the viral character on the Montgomery Brawl was the dude that jumped into the water and swam to the dock to help a brother out. He was actually featured on Black Kids Swim Facebook group for black swimmers, and the coach says he could have the boy anytime on his relay team. Now, this was actually so amazing, and I'm sorry to, bring this in the middle of this conversation. It was a point when, black people instinctively reacted to protect each other. It was not scripted. It was not planned. This is just something that happened randomly. These people did not even know each other. This was an employee who was working at the dock, and these were people who were in a boat, and someone, just decided, I see a black brother being attacked for a fault that's not his own. I'm going to jump into this water and I'm going to go to swim and save him. But you know what the signal was? The hat.
Thank you.
Yeah. The hat was.
That was it.
That's gonna be an international signal. So
I guess that's the kaende.
Yeah, and then
Avengers!
Sambaza podcast says the security guard who threw his hat, and then he closed. Slay says he closed his eyes and pointed at the map and chose Kenya. I think this was now to Kaiser. Like that randomness. That randomness I think has shocked to everyone, and the fact that you just went, did not know anyone. And just pointed and figured out things for yourself. Now you did not have like any fear in you or owing to the fact that you're going to some place that you know nobody.
The feeling I was having didn't leave space of fear. I had to go. I had to go to Africa. Decided I was going to Kenya, and it was in my mind. So there was absolutely no fear.
Okay, all right. That was that's quite interesting. Now, what about of course there was Kenya, which you said was random. What about the 50? Let me not even say 53. The 52 other countries, because of course Ghana was out, everybody was going there. Then there's Kenya. Then there's 52 other countries. Was there any other country that you had randomly considered while you were thinking Kenya? Or your spirit just told you Kenya and Kenya it is?
It's Kenya, it's Kenya, and it was the right decision.
Okay.
The ancestors were calling.
The ancestors were calling.
Simple.
Okay.
If I say that, my mother might freak out, hardcore Christian. So, but
they whispered.
We could say that. We could say the ancestors were calling. Absolutely.
Okay. And what was it about, George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and what was happening at that time that pushed you to say that you need to get out of Canada?
So the one that affected me the most was Breonna Taylor, because she did everything society said we should do to be successful and be safe. The school, the good job, everything. And that's the kind of person I am. I am doing everything society has said, do this and you will be successful. And by any measure of anyone, I am fairly successful. But something happened, and it's like I was reminded I was Black. For a moment, you forget, and someone will remind you one day. And so when that happened, I kind of, Canada, the whole image of Canada just shattered for me. And, some people were telling me, oh, we were trying to tell you long time ago, this is the way Canada is. But no, I was Captain Canada. I bought the Kool-Aid. Hell, I was selling the Canadian Kool-Aid.
Yes, and Canada has, it doesn't have a racist image. It doesn't have that image that America has.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like everything is hunky-dory there. Everybody is happily living happily ever after.
I mean,
all races.
Think about it. Like when you look at, let's say, for example, like the guy who's, I guess, the head of military or something. The Sikh, is he Sikh or Indian? The Indian.
He was the Minister of Defense. He's
Minister of Defense. I mean, people are getting into power, not necessarily just being white, but people. It's very accommodating
and living happily ever after. All the different races in perfect harmony.
That's I don't know about that. Maybe Kaiser can demystify or mystify how it is over there.
It's a lot of it is unconscious bias. They don't realize they're doing it. And from my experience, it's unconscious. They don't realize they're doing it. I think Black women here go through it a lot worse than Black men. I think they're scrutinized every day at work, to be quite honest. But for me, it's a lot of the unconscious bias. And then sometimes people would just say things blatantly, and I'd have to stop and look. And I was like, wow. Even yesterday, one of my teachers from Jamaica had a Facebook Live, and he had an issue in his parking lot. And he was like, and I said, is this Canada? And he goes, yes. So it seemed to have gotten worse over the years. I'll be honest. I think from you had that president there, I think it got a lot worse.